Tommy Jarvis, who had survived the previous mass murders at Crystal Lake just years earlier and had also spent time in psychiatric confinement, was apprehended by the police late this evening here at his childhood home, which served as the scene for the Crystal Lake murders he survived 7 years ago.
Tommy Jarvis went completely off the deep end after the events at Pinehurst. He came damn close to killing a woman.
He went totally buggo. He had a hockey mask on, he was running down the hallways with a knife in his hand. I think he honestly thought the spirit of Jason had taken him over.
What are you boys doing down there? It's time for supper.
Mom, we're being interviewed!
Over time, the hallucinations and delusions seemed to dissipate, but despite the opinions of some of my colleagues, I wasn't so sure Tommy was cured.
He fooled the doctors thinking he was okay, but he wasn't. And so he got out and he went to go get Jason. And I think he got Jason. I think he did.
Yeah, I saw Tommy Jarvis when he got back in town. He's kind of cute.
Tommy had changed a lot since the last time he'd been seen in town. He even looked totally different.
Could have been plastic surgery, a disguise of some kind.
Right, to hide himself from Jason. Dude, that's awesome. Hang on.
Yeah.
That's going on the website.
At the time, Crystal Lake had gone through some changes.
People lost their homes and their businesses. So, like, all the entrepreneurial people, like myself, ended up working here.
Sheriff Garris was determined to get beyond the Jason stories, get things back to normal. So he did a very simple thing. He changed the name of the town. So Crystal Lake, with Jason, became Forest Green, without.
So one night, Tommy and his friend from the sanitarium show up at the graveyard, carrying shovels and a hockey mask.
And what do? They dig Jason up. Makes sense, right? Tommy wants a little closure.
This is where things get really inventive.
They say Tommy brought Jason back to life with some kind of, like, lightning bolt or something. You know, I mean, I don't know, maybe.
That's the cockamamie story that he came up with. He went running into Sheriff Garris's office, screaming up a blue streak, insisting that Jason was alive. Garris wasn't the type to suffer that kind of bullshit, so he locked him up for the night.
Why would you dig up Jason's body? Well, you want to count the maggots in his head?
Jason's final resting place had been desecrated. The grave was opened up, and Jason came back as a member of the undead. Un, from the Latin, meaning not.
Well, electricity in the form of an EKG has certainly been known to revive people from a clinically dead state, and many people have survived being struck by lightning. But a long dead, decomposed corpse being resurrected by a lightning rod? That's the stuff of old Frankenstein movies.
So, the murders begin anew, and you've got Chicken Little Tommy Jarvis running around town saying, Jason's back, scaring the hell out of everybody, when the most likely suspect in these murders, Tommy Jarvis.
That is total bullpoop. Tommy Jarvis is no more a psychopathic killer than my cat.
He was trying to stop the reanimated corpse of Jason Voorhees from going back to the campground. Duh!
But then a busload of us kids, we arrived at summer camp the next morning. You know, everything seemed fine. Until Jason showed up.
Bottom line is, there was enough evidence linking Jarvis to the Forest Green murders for Sheriff Garris to detain him. Now, whether he was acting alone, whether he had an accomplice, we don't know.
He was behind bars, so how's he supposed to commit those murders?
Astral projection.
Voodoo. Telekinesis.
Well, why the hell not? I mean, if he could believe that a zombie could kill from beyond the grave, well, why couldn't he?
Since Jason couldn't be killed by normal means, Tommy came up with a plan to return Jason to his original resting place, the bottom of Crystal Lake.
When the sheriff arrived, he rounded all of us kids into one of the cabins. And then Jason, he broke right through the door. And we were so terrified and screaming and running around, but Tommy saved us. Tommy's not a killer. He's our hero.
Tommy believed the only way he could put this demon to rest was to drown him again.
Now they'll actually have you believe that Jarvis somehow lured Jason away from these kids and into the water, wrapped a chain with a boulder attached to it around Jason's neck, and drowned him once again at the bottom of the lake. Now, the sad fact is that he got children to buy into his delusion.
Tommy did it. He buried Jason once and for all. And he was finally free.
Well, not the way we saw it, Tommy Jarvis. He was a wanted murderer. He fled and he hasn't been seen since.
Where was this mysterious reanimated corpse that was supposedly tethered to the bottom of the lake? No one's ever been able to find it. Where did it go?
Why wasn't Jason's body ever found at the bottom of the lake? Because they never looked. They knew it was out there, and they knew that some secrets are best left buried.
We dragged the lake. We found nothing. No bodies, no drowning victims, no corpus delicti.
After everything that happened, they went ahead and just changed the name from Forest Green right back to Crystal Lake.
I guess they figured that you can never escape the past.
Because the past comes back to haunt you.
Because really he is, a part of our community, and I think that's important, to be community-minded.
If he's out there, we ain't seeing him, he's probably just snooping on us and watching us. That's kind of pervy, that's kind of weird. That kind of scares me, a little more than the worrying about that machete he's got.
I think it speaks volumes about the state of our society that there are people who still give credibility to these ludicrous fairy tales. Jason Voorhees is dead. But what can I say? Some folks have a really strange idea of entertainment.
The Tommy Jarvis case remains one of the most fascinating and frustrating of my career. Was he a victim, a villain, or both? I honestly don't know. I wish he'd come forward. I'd still like to try to help him. But until that day comes, I hope he's safe, somewhere living his dream, far away from Crystal Lake.
That son of a bitch ever shows his face on my watch. All I can say is, I hope he's got more than just a machete at his side this time.
Tommy has my full support, my testimony, and many others. I hope one day he comes back to clear his name.
I guess only Tommy really knows what happened at Camp Forest Green.
Crystal Lake. Right. Till then, however, we are here to watch Tommy's back. We are here on the internet.
Crystal Lake is a safe, happy place. So come on, spend a summer with us. What's the worst that could happen?